Daniel, how did you find out about this internship?
I was doing a search online for internships for this coming summer, and I found it on your website, actually. A friend of mine had seen it and recommended it.
Yeah, as you may know, we do receive a lot of applications for this internship, so it's important that find out why you believe Baird should hire you.
I think I have a lot of good experience from some past jobs that I've had, as well as my major's given me some good experience in the area of organization and communication that I think would be really well suited for this role.
So, what would you say is your best attribute that will help contribute to this company?
I think my work ethic is usually what I think is probably my biggest strength. I've been working since I was about 16 for my parents' company, and I've always been dependable, someone you can count on. Same one I guess would apply for my internship that I had last year. I received good reviews for my work ethic and how I was getting the job done right.
Okay, so I see from your resume that you went to the University of Wisconsin. What would you say are your academic strengths?
I've taken a lot of courses in the journalism school, and so I think a lot of those courses tend to be something that are really well suited for me. My major is journalism and mass communications with an emphasis in strategic communications. So I found that those classes are a really good fit. I've also taken a lot of math, so statistics and calculus that I think are some other strengths of mine.
What would you say, what courses gave you the most difficulty?
Actually, I took some computer programming classes, learning programming in Java and C++ that I found to be very difficult. I didn't understand the logic of some of those courses, and I really struggled with that, so I hope you're not having any computer programming requirements.
No, not besides Excel. Well, what course would you say your organizational skills were most needed?
I guess some of my journalism classes are projects where a lot of different pieces need to come together very nicely in order for the final product to be a quality product, and so organization is very important in some of those courses, especially when we're doing things like editing page layouts and using multiple documents that feed into each other. It requires quite a bit of organization.
As you know, Baird is employee-owned, so we do depend on our employees for the livelihood of our company. What skills and abilities do you have to help make you successful in today's job market as well as the business world?
I think that more than ever, communication is, in technical and digital communication, is more important than ever, with so much of business being conducted by email. And so much of what we do going back and forth being electronic. And so I think that it's very important that people understand how to do formal communication. And I do have some coursework that's very relevant for that in the journalism school. And I think that, again, my work ethic is really something that, regardless of the state of business, is really important to have. And I think that's something that I've always been told is a strong asset of mine.
So, talking about jobs, how many would you say you've had? How many real jobs?
About 4 or 5.
How are your experiences in those jobs?
I've never left a job where I wasn't on good terms with my employer. I've had some jobs where they were very, I bagged groceries for about a year in high school, and I found that was a good job, but when I moved further away from the grocery store that I worked at, it didn't make sense anymore. But I've always left on great terms, and my reasons for leaving employers has always been to find something that's maybe a better fit or had better hours, or something that worked really well for me. And so I think all of those positions have been good in developing my skills, but I think this role that I'm interviewing for right now would be the perfect role for me based on those experiences.
Would you say there are any significant achievements at these previous jobs?
Yeah, I did receive an Employee of the Month certificate once when I was bagging groceries in high school, but I wouldn't say that that's necessarily very relevant for this role. But I did also get asked to come back full-time after I graduated from my internship that I had last summer, and so I think that was a pretty good achievement that recognized the work that I did.
Well, since you've had so many jobs, what would you say is the biggest challenge with starting a new job?
When I interned last summer, the one thing that I found a little bit challenging at first when I was getting started was understanding how the tasks that I was doing were fitting into the broader goals of the organization. Sometimes it's easy to be handed an assignment and to go off and do it, but I think it's hard to do a really good job on something unless you really understand how that helps the person sitting next to you or how that helps your boss to do their job better. And so I find that's very helpful when I first get started at something to really understand what a quality product looks like, what success looks like, and how that contributes to the wider organization.
So, why don't you tell me about a time at work or school when you encountered a conflict, an issue within a group of coworkers or classmates?
My internships, I don't think I've really had any major conflict. I did have a conflict in a group project that I worked on last semester, where we were all contributing to an advertising campaign and we all had different roles. I was sort of the leader of the group and I needed to bring together the work of several other students, and one of the members of our group was having a hard time getting their work in on time. After confronting that person, I found that there was an issue with their family, a personal situation that was kind of distracting them from doing their work, and we were able to, after confronting them and understanding this, I was able to speak with the professor and get some extended deadlines for that particular piece of our work so that the rest of us weren't penalized for delays in that work. So in the end, it worked out great and we were able to turn in a quality product and we got an A.
Is there anything you can tell me more about your communication skills?
Like I said, my internship last summer, where I was asked back full time, I did quite a bit of emailing with people all the way up the chain, all the way up to the chief financial officer. So there was a lot of communication that went back and forth with very important documents, very sort of top secret documents that I was trusted with. I think that was a good reflection of how they trusted me and my work ethic. And so there was quite a bit of very important, very high level information that I was dealing with back and forth, a lot of numbers that needed to be perfect down to decimal points. And so I think throughout my internship and a lot of that type of communication that was going on, I never had any errors. I never was told that I did anything wrong. So I think that having a lot of organization and detail in my communication is something that I did very well.
All right, well that about finishes this interview. Do you have any questions for me?
I don't have any questions off the top of my head, but if it would be okay, I would email you with follow-up questions if that's okay.
Yeah, that's perfectly fine. Do you have my card?
I do.
All right.
Thank you.